The New York City Transit Department of Buses and MTA Bus Company take pride in providing equal access to all our customers. In accordance with the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act, New York City Transit buses are accessible to passengers with mobility-related disabilities. Accessibility goes beyond making buses available to people who use wheelchairs or mobility devices. We strive to make taking the bus easy and comfortable for people of all abilities. A crucial part of this is disability etiquette. At Transit, we all work together to provide courteous and respectful service to all of our customers. The following video covers New York City Transit's policies and best practices for serving people with disabilities. We will start by showing some scenarios in which bus operators assist passengers with disabilities so that you can get to know important features on your bus and see good customer service in action.
Customers who are blind.
When a person who is blind or has low vision boards a bus, they might ask the bus operator to announce their stop. The ADA requires that a bus operator announce a customer's specific stop request as well as major intersections and points of interest. Be proactive. If a person who is blind or has low vision enters the bus, be ready to offer your help.
Good morning, is this the M15?
Good morning. Yes, it is. What stop would you like?
South Ferry Terminal.
Yes, sir. I'll announce it when we get there.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Service animals.
A service animal is usually a dog, but not always. Service animals may perform any of the following tasks: guide people who are blind or have low vision, assist people who are deaf or hard of hearing, pull wheelchairs, pick up and carry objects, help people recognize and avoid hazards. Most service animals can be recognized by their collars, tags, and/or harnesses. However, these are not required for a service animal to ride the bus. The MTA offers volunteer identification for people with service animals. However, it is not mandatory. While you may never ask someone to disclose their disability, you may ask what service the animal provides. There are appropriate and inappropriate ways to interact with a service animal.
Huh? Is that your pet?
No, he's a service animal.
Do you do any tasks?
He guides me and occasionally he will pick things up for me.
Can he do any tricks? Excuse me, sir, is this your pet?
No, he's a service animal.
Does he do any tasks?
He guides me and occasionally he will pick things up for me.
Thank you. Would you like me to announce your stop?
Yes, please. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Find your seat. Under.
Always refrain from petting or interacting with service animals without the owner's permission. Service animals are always allowed to ride the bus unless they are disruptive or threatening to the operator or passengers. Pets, which are different from service animals, must be kept in a closed container.
Customers who have a speech disability. Sometimes you encounter customers who have a speech disability. Speech disabilities can be caused by cerebral palsy, a stroke, or other disabilities. When speaking with someone with a speech disability, it is important not to make assumptions. For example, never assume the person is intoxicated. The key is to have patience. Feel comfortable asking them to repeat themselves. If all else fails, you may ask them to write their question down. Always speak to the person directly. Do not ask their companion or stranger to speak for them, even if you are having difficulty understanding.
Hello, ma'am. Can you tell me if this bus stopped at North 7th Street in Williamsburg?
What did you say?
Hello, ma'am. Can you tell me if this bus stops at North 7th Street in Williamsburg?
I'm sorry, could you repeat yourself? I didn't quite understand the question.
Yes. Can you please tell me if this bus stops at North 7th Street in Williamsburg?
Yes, it does, sir. Please have a seat, and I will let you know when we arrive.
Thank you.
Customers who use wheelchairs or other mobility devices.
Many of our customers use mobility devices. Mobility devices include walkers, wheelchairs, and medical strollers. As you follow your route, it is important to use forward planning and watch for people who use mobility devices waiting at bus stops.
It is important to remember that a person's device is a part of their physical space, and it's never appropriate to touch or move it without the person's permission. A common mistake bus operators often make is referring to a disabled person by their device. Mobility devices are tools that people use to get around. People are not defined by them.
Watch out, wheelchairs are boarding.
Good morning. Please stand clear of the ramp so I can extend it. Hello, folks. Would you kindly relinquish these seats so my 2 wheelchair users may board the bus? Thank you. Great, sir. You can board. Take your time.
Each bus has 2 spaces for wheelchair users. If a bus is filled at capacity, meaning both spaces for wheelchair users are filled, the operator should politely inform the person and check to see when the next bus is scheduled.
If the bus is full, but wheelchair spaces are not occupied by wheelchair users, and a wheelchair user wishes to board, you must ask other passengers to make room for them.
One of the most common complaints we get from our passengers is that bus operators pass and leave them at the bus stop without stopping.
Many customers use mobility devices that are different from wheelchairs. Some people use canes or walkers. Some parents or caregivers may have a child with a disability who needs to use a medical stroller.
The ramp is for any passenger who requests it. All those shopping carts, strollers that are not medical strollers, and walkers may be used on the ramp.
Stepping up or down from the curb to the bus can be difficult for people with disabilities or seniors. Curbing or kneeling the bus makes it easier for these passengers to board.
Always curb the bus unless there's an obstruction in the bus stop.
Kneel the bus whenever a customer requests it. Anyone can ask you to kneel the bus, whether or not they have a visible disability.
If the bus stop has an obstruction, the operator should stop in the street parallel to the curb and put on the hazard lights.
Personal care attendants. Personal care attendants, or PCAs, are people who assist the people with disabilities or seniors. A PCA may be an employee, spouse, child, relative, or friend, and may be a different person every day. Passengers who are eligible for our paratransit or Access a Ride program have a special MetroCard with their name and photo that they use to ride the bus or subway. PCAs are allowed to ride the bus for free if the disabled person who they are assisting has an Access a Ride MetroCard that states they are eligible to ride with a PCA. When assisting a passenger with a PCA, remember, always speak to the person directly, not their PCA. Do not let the PCA ride on the lift or ramp. It is not safe. You do not need to verify the identity or relationship of the PCA if they are riding with a passenger with an Access a Ride card.
Customers who have invisible disabilities. As you drive your route, you may meet a person who asks for help or an accommodation who appears to be able-bodied. Remember, there are many disabilities that may not be readily visible. If someone is asking for help, trust that they need it. Never ask someone to disclose their disability.
Customers who have cognitive disabilities. Some transit customers may have cognitive disabilities. A cognitive disability can be Down syndrome, a traumatic brain injury, or any disability in which a person processes information differently from typical thinking. Often, cognitive disabilities are invisible. As with other disabilities, the key is to never make assumptions. If a customer appears to have a cognitive disability or seems to have difficulty understanding you, here are some tips. Speak clearly. If giving directions, give concrete landmarks. Always have a clear beginning and an ending to the conversation. Avoid using figurative language. Do not speak down to the person or use baby talk.
Customers who are deaf. Many people who are deaf or hard of hearing use the bus. It's important to keep in mind that people who are deaf communicate in many different ways. Some people read lips and are verbal, some may hear with difficulty, some people may communicate with American Sign Language. One method of getting your point across may be to gesture or use a pen and paper. While people who are deaf and hard of hearing communicate in a variety of ways, it's important to take a person's cue when interacting.
Yes, we do. We do go to Union Square.
Priority seating.
When a person who's in a walker or a wheelchair need to get on or off safely, the driver should make sure that that person is on the bus safely and secured.
Our buses have priority seating for passengers with disabilities and seniors. There are two kinds of priority seating. There are the two sets of seats behind the operator, which face the interior of the bus. These must be used for wheelchair users if needed. The bus also has seats which face the front, in addition to the two groups of seats behind the driver. It is mandatory that people sitting in these seats move if a person who uses a wheelchair or mobility device gets on the bus, or if a person with a disability asks for a seat.
As a bus operator, we ask you to provide courteous and professional service for all of our customers. When working with people with disabilities, it is especially important to keep the following guidelines in mind. Be patient with your customers and yourself. Be proactive about offering help, but do not insist. Don't make assumptions about what people can or cannot do. Not all disabilities are visible. Never ask someone to disclose their disability. Refrain from touching people, service animals, or mobility devices. Use all of the ADA features on your route. The ramp, lift, and kneeling features can be used by any customer upon request. Attitude is contagious, and other customers on your bus will reflect your attitude by exhibiting a positive and pleasant demeanor. Others will be more cooperative and patient while the customer with a disability is boarding. Our customers are listening and watching you, and patience can make a huge difference in someone's day. In closing, thank you for the professional job that you do every day.